This morning, we're getting a look at new video from California. Pro-Palestinian protesters barricading themselves inside a college campus overnight. The school forced to close today for student safety.
We're seeing demonstrations like this happen across the country on college campuses. Cleo Green is in our studio this morning with more because tensions have been escalating. Cleo?
Yeah, Mark D, and with that video you just showed us, as of 8:30 last night, the organization Humble for Palestine says that Palestine has said students have been arrested, though it's not confirmed from University Police. So we're still waiting for more information there. But from coast to coast, there have been multiple protests that we've seen in response to Israel's attack on Gaza. This has been happening for weeks now, and it's growing. This is the latest video from overnight from New York University. You can actually see police in riot gear here dismantling the encampment, arresting multiple people, students accused of ignoring a deadline to disperse. At Columbia University, protests are entering a sixth day. More than 100 people have been arrested there. Students say there has been a rise in both anti-Semitic and Islamophobic incidents.
There were people outside of campus one time with signs that said "Death to all Jews." That is awful, and nobody should be having to experience that.
So overnight, Columbia, they just announced classes for the rest of the semester will be held virtually due to security concerns. Now, we haven't seen any campus protests like that here at home, here in Texas, but Governor Greg Abbott shared his thoughts on X, saying Ivy League universities are showing that their time has passed. They're a little more than monuments of our past. Now they are accomplices of the chaos they helped to sow. So a little cryptic.
Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. What I just showed you was a clip of what's going on these college campuses with all this pro-Palestinian movement. Excuse me. And I'm going to show you a few more clips of exactly what's going on, especially the riot that took place at the University of Texas. Supposedly there's some rioting going on at USC. And they're afraid that it's starting to spread more and more, and it's going to spread more and more. But before I continue, I want to thank all my subscribers, all my new subscribers, and all my subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around, give it a thumbs up. I've been getting a lot of messages of people noticing that my videos are not getting a lot of views. Meanwhile, once again, the last couple of videos I put out, my analytics are high. I mean, even the video I put out last night, after the 4.5 minute mark, my viewer retention was past 80%, and yet YouTube only pushed out that video 159 times. Okay, where by their own saying, like I said before, that anything past 30 seconds, if you have anything above 50% when it comes to viewer retention, it's a good video and it gets pushed out more. But obviously the video was on Trump, okay, and they're not going to push that out. And when I make a video on Biden and the leftists, they don't push it out. But that's okay. Let's see how this video does. Also, if you want to help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and PayPal, and to my merch store, TrueOutlawPatriot.com. So with all that being said, I just want to, before I get into all the other videos that I'm going to show you, I'm just giving everybody fair warning that you're going to see how ironic it is for the media to put a spin and turn things around. And I have to laugh. I'm smiling because deep down inside I am laughing. And it's not a cynical laugh, but it's a laugh to say that, oh, guess what? The natives are restless, Democrats. And I like what the tweet that Greg Abbott put out, and I'm going to read it. And if anybody follows or has been following what's been going on, you know, since the very first day Donald Trump came down the escalator, you'll understand what Greg Abbott is trying to say. And it says, Ivy League universities are showing that their time has passed. They are little more than monuments of our past. Now they are accomplices of the chaos they helped sow. And basically it explains itself. Okay, all these universities, all these leftists, the Democratic Party, all these socialists, all the communists, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, okay, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, you know, the list goes on and on and on. And what did they do? They basically, they wanted to breed a protesting society to shut up voices of dissent, to shut up people on the other side, to shut us up. And like I've been saying for so long since I started this channel, the Democrats basically, they eat themselves. And now it's coming, their ideology, their mindset of the way they wanted to put everything together in order to shut down people that they don't like is basically coming back to bite them in the ass. So hats off to all you Democrats who tried to shut us down. Now you're getting shut down. How does that feel? So with that being said, I'm going to show you guys a couple of more clips of what's going on, because the mainstream media, it's funny. They're showing it, but I want everybody to listen to a news clip that I'm going to play, how even with all this chaos in front of them that's happening, they're still relentless to say that they've got everything under control. Okay? That they've got everything under control, that Biden has really nothing to worry about, the Democratic Party has nothing to worry about. Okay? I mean, it freaking blows my mind the way these people think that they could have started this to go against Donald Trump, conservatives, people on the right, anybody that didn't agree with them, even if they were gay, straight, liberal, that decided to say, you know what, let me open up my eyes because this doesn't look right. Now it's coming back to bite them in the ass. And they're still going to try to put a spin on it. But I'll show you the next clips. Here we go.
We are not afraid of you! We are not afraid of you!
A movement inspired by pro-Palestine protests at Columbia University hits West Coast college campuses. Video shows students and law enforcement clashing at Cal Poly Humboldt campus. Now, the campus is still closed since protesters barricaded themselves inside that building earlier this week. Now, in New York, Columbia University students have been demanding for days for the university to stop doing business with companies supporting Israel.
Yeah, so these guys, they barricade themselves in the college. They said they've been there for a week. I didn't hear about it on the news, but you know what? This is the way I see it, in all honesty. If they're going to barricade themselves in the college and not let the cops in or anybody else in all honesty, and I'm being honest, let them starve. Don't let nothing in. They'll come out. There's one thing that people need to understand, okay? And like I said, I'm laughing inside. It's not a cynical laugh. I laugh because it's mind-boggling. But, you know, the cops, they want to get into this liberal college and try to get all these liberal kids out that are protesting, right? How much food and water do they have in there? I mean, of course, the water's going to run, but how much food are they going to have in there? Smoke them out. And I don't mean smoke them out like throw smoke bombs and stuff like that. No, what I mean is like what a parent does when a child gets upset and locks themselves in a room. I'm not going to eat. I don't want to go outside. Ba-da-da-da-da. All right, keep your stupid little ass in the room then. You'll be coming out in the middle of the night. I'll catch your little ass like a little rag trying to get into the fridge because you're hungry. Let the college kids, let them barricade themselves in the college. Lock it up. Don't let nobody in. Don't let nobody out. When they start getting cabin fever and they start attacking each other inside and they start screaming, then maybe you turn around and say, oh, you want us in? Is everything okay in there? What's going on? What? Everybody okay? No. Let them sweat it out. Okay? Don't let the media in. Don't let nobody in to talk to them. Don't let their parents in. None of that shit. When their parents come calling, where's my children? They're fine. They're adults. Okay? They're protesting. They're doing what they want. They're fine. They're inside. What about food and water? They should have thought about that before they locked their asses inside of a college. You know, out of all the stupid things you can do to protest, and believe me, there have been people doing some pretty stupid, outlandish shit during these protests. One of the stupidest things you can do is lock your happy ass somewhere where you need to understand, no matter how much food they have, it's not a freaking bunker. It's not made for you to sit there for weeks or months on end thinking that you can survive. Okay, like I said, there's running water. You might be able to take a shower. You might be able to drink water. That's fine. Maybe everybody's got a couple of, ramen pride noodles tucked away somewhere inside their backpacks. But what are you going to do when the food runs out? What are you going to do when the ones that are weaker in that crowd decide to say, I want to go home, and then they start fighting each other because the other ones say, you can't do this, you can't give in? Let them stay. That's the way I see it. But that's my thought on that. Let's get to the next video. Here we go.
Let's get to the breaking stories in other parts of the country. Austin, Texas, we've been watching that very closely this afternoon. In fact, we have reporter Ryan Chandler from News Nation station KXAN, who's been reporting and doing a terrific job on campus at the University of Texas as things have heated up. And Ryan joins us once again right now. I believe there's going to be a delay from when you hear me speak and when you hear Ryan come on. But Ryan, if you can hear me, tell us what you've been seeing on that campus today.
I can hear you loud and clear. For about the first time in a couple hours, I can actually hear what's in my ear. We are finally in the calm of the calm after the storm here on UT's campus. It's been a very tense couple of hours, a violent couple of hours, since these protesters, about 200 students, were met with a heavy, immediate police presence. We learned of these plans last night when a group called the Palestinian Solidarity Committee intended to host a mass walkout from class and a sit-in on the main lawn just below that iconic UT tower. But UT warned them almost immediately that they will not be allowed to do that. The university said that they believe that would be disruptive and said that they need to cancel the protest. Of course, they did not cancel it, and they were met by riot troopers from the Department of Public Safety, from UT's own police, and they ended up arresting about 6 to 8 students, is what we believe right now, for trespassing or for disrupting. We did not see anything overtly violent from any of the protesters, but nonetheless, the university is certainly going to look into disciplining those students that disobeyed their order to cancel that protest. It's finally dispersed after a very tense couple of hours, but I'll tell you, I went to UT just a few years ago, and this university has a culture of protest. Their students are very politically active, and this is going to be a wound that is going to take some time to heal on this campus. Take a look at some of the reaction that we got from students in the middle of that protest today.
I was next to one of the organizers. He had successfully gotten everybody's attention. Listen up, people are silent. He was trying to organize people to disperse, literally doing what the police had told him to do. Mid-sentence, he gets tackled to the ground by 5 heavily armed officers and dragged up. This is a giant escalation of what would have been a peaceful protest.
Yeah, I like the way he says what would have been a peaceful protest. And this is where News Nation played this part. But if you look at all the other videos, you see how bad the protesters are treating other people, treating the cops. And not to mention how many of these protesters are basically going after Jews. Okay? With anti-Semitic slurs and stuff like that. Going after Americans, burning the American flag. I mean, leave it up to some liberal kid, okay, to say, oh, that, you know what, he was trying to tell the crowd what to do, where to go, to try to disperse. But you were warned from the beginning not to have the protest. But you went and did it anyway. So now when the cops get heavy-handed, you get upset. They started with the old boo-hoo me whining and crying. Okay? But the thing about it is that what did you think was going to happen? You decided to just disrupt the day for everyone because you care about Palestine so much. Has anybody, and I haven't seen it, I haven't heard it, I have yet to see one protester basically go against Hamas. I have yet to see one protester come out and say that what Hamas did on October 7th was wrong, which started this whole escalation between Israel and Palestine. Not one. Not one. But what do? They protest down to America, down to the UK, down to Israel, burning flags. And it's not just here, it's in New York. Everybody's been seeing the videos. The news has been putting it out. It's nothing new, and it's been going on since when? Since right after Israel decided to counterattack Palestine, to counterattack Hamas, after what happened October 7th. You know, people tend to forget that regardless of the conflict that they've had between each other for X amount of years, the people on October 7th were just trying to enjoy the day. Hamas decided to go and attack innocent people that were at a music concert. Okay? The same thing that happened in Russia not too long ago, where it's been crickets with the media. Okay? People just trying to enjoy music, men, women, and children. Okay? And a bunch of people broke in with weapons and just started mowing people down at the concert hall, even turning the place on fire. I don't even know what the death toll is at this point. I think it was well over 100. You know, if Russia would have retaliated, I wonder if the protesters would have went against Russia. People make it seem like everything is okay, everything is beautiful, everything is roses, that, you know, it's all fair in love and war. Okay? What's been happening in the Middle East is nothing new. But what the left has done, what they have managed to do, is what Greg Abbott just said. They did this. They made this. The colleges, the woke professors, all of them together, coordinated together. They bred this breed of people in society. They hatched this plan. They sat inside their laboratory and they started putting all together, all the chemicals together that they needed to have these types of people, okay, get basically spawned. And now they're mad because it's like, well, we wanted to protest, we were told to leave, but you know what, we didn't leave, and then when we tried to leave, the cops got heavy-handed with us. Hey, all's fair in love and war, man. It's just the way it is. You know, we have an old saying in the Bronx, you don't want none, don't come get none. Plain and simple. You know? But the next clip I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you how the mainstream media, like I said in the beginning of the video, how they're trying to spin this around and make it seem like, you know what, it's, you know, it's rough, but the Democrats, people think the Democrats are losing control, but they're not. They're not. They got everything under control. They got everything under control. And then I'll give you my final thoughts and my personal warning, okay, of what's to come. So pay attention. Here we go. Before I start the video, this was put up by Channel 4. When I said that I'm going to give up my personal warning of what's to come, it is not a threat. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to give you my opinion on what of a warning, my personal warning of an opinion of what I think is going to come. Okay? Because to me, I'm watching all this and I just see it all lining up. Okay? All lining up, which was supposed to line up to basically fall heavy on the Republicans. But it's not. It's not. It's actually going to turn around to bite the Democrats in the ass. But let's get to this video. I'm not going to try to play the whole 9 minutes, even though it's pretty good, but let's play this and you'll see what I'm saying. Here we go.
Covering this pro-Palestinian protest at USC. Things started getting a little chaotic a few minutes ago, and that's why we are covering it. We were told that there was going to be a protest, and initially around the 11 o'clock news hour, things were fairly calm. We took a live picture. Things were calm out there. About 36 people were out there. But things have changed dramatically, and we have our Conan Nolan, who's following all this from the newsroom. Conan, what are your thoughts on all of this? I mean, tensions were rising already.
Right. A couple of observations. First off, if you noticed in the pictures that we had of the security on campus at USC, they were bareheaded or wore uniform hats. That's a calculation. They're not in riot gear. There's a suggestion has been in policing that if you gear up for potential violent conflict, you invite that kind of conflict. So they've gone out of their way, as you can see here. Nobody's in riot gear. They're doing what they can to stop the encampment from starting. I think that's probably key. They've seen what the university administration has seen what happened at Columbia, where they had a tent city set up. It stopped the university. They brought in NYPD to clear it out. The tents came back, and now they're having to go hybrid. USC doesn't want to have to do that. This is at a critical juncture at in their semester, and they've got commencement coming up, which is also problematic. We've talked about the controversy over the valedictorian. There's a very good chance that this would have happened in spite of that, because we are seeing protests like this on other campuses around the country. And Cal Poly Humboldt.
Okay, I'm gonna jump into this right now. You know, it's funny how the university is saying that they need to put a stop to this because they have, whatever's coming up for these students. Basically what they're trying to say is they don't want to have to adhere to their own rules, meaning after a certain point, there's but so much disruption the students can do before they have to expel them. Okay? I say, fuck it, expel them all. Every college out there, all these students are stopping business, tens of billions of dollars being spread into all these colleges, all these left woke colleges. Somebody out there needs to stand up and say, listen, hold on one second. You have made it hard for people on the right in your colleges, even to the point of stopping sports tournaments, disqualifying sports teams, expelling children, expelling students, okay, picking on children, everybody on the right. But they want to give these college students, they want to give them a chance. No, that's not how it goes. Because now, if they expel all these children, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of these colleges, they do have laws, they have rules, that if you act up to a certain point, they have to get rid of your stupid ass. But then what happens? When you do it in mass, because you have to get rid of all these students, or at least 10%, 20% of them, for what they're doing, what happens? There goes your funding. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out. Okay? I think that their feet should be put by the fire and say, you know what? Put their feet to the fire and say, You have a double standard when it comes to other students. Now it's time for you to show face and do the same thing for the students that are disrupting business as usual. Okay? I mean, in all honesty, let's be real here. How many social activists does this country need after all these college students graduate? It's not like they're going to find real jobs that are going to contribute to society. Expel them now. Get rid of them now. Let them figure it out. You're letting them do what the hell they want anyway. You bred this breed. This is your baby. These are your babies. This is what you wanted. You wanted to pull the kids away from society, pull the kids away from God, pull the kids away from their families. You wanted this. You wanted a generation of activists. But now stand by your own laws and your own rules. Oh, they can't do that now, huh? Well, let's continue.
Formerly Humboldt State University in the northern part of the coast, that university was shut down for a few days because of a tent encampment. Again, I think SC saw that. They didn't want to have to shut classes down. It's a very expensive university.
Shut it down. Shut them all down.
And at the University of Texas and other places, we're seeing something similar. I should push back, though. We had an interview momentarily with Constantine Anthony. He's a member of the Burbank City Council, very liberal. He was talking about USC having relationships with Israel, and that the money being spent on tuition is being funneled to fight the war by the Israeli Defense Force. You put that into context. Universities across the country, across the nation, have a relationship with a number of institutions, research institutions within Israel. And so the suggestion that USC is any different from the University of California or other private institutions around the nation is subject to some scrutiny. The fact is, SC is doing what universities and academic institutions around the nation have been doing for decades.
Oh, but wait a minute. He just said that man's very liberal, and he's, I guess he's saying that he's talking against that, the way that these students are protesting, because, you know, a lot of these universities do business with Israel. But hold on one second. You guys didn't see this coming? You didn't see this coming. It's basically, let's put it this way. This is where the phrase comes in. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. But that's what they wanted. Okay? Like I said, they wanted to breed, okay, a different population so they can use them in the future to go against anybody that doesn't agree with them. But now it's coming back to bite them in the ass. What did you think was going to happen? Your baby got too big. That's what happened. And now you can't control the baby. But let's continue.
Ever since the establishment of the Israeli state. So there is that. And I have to tell you that the demands that we have to say there are 9 demands that they have put forth, the groups USC for Palestine. Among them is that USC doesn't expand. USC stops construction of anything anywhere outside of the campus, and that the USC doesn't have policing on campus. I can tell you those demands are not going to be met.
All right, Conan, we're going to watch this with you, because what we're seeing, this is from Tracy Leong's camera, a reporter there on the scene, and it looks like we see some of the protesters and some people who are just standing by, everyone with a cell phone recording this, talking with the police. But as you said, they're really trying to not ramp this up. They're not in riot gear. They do have batons. But we are seeing a little bit of more tension in this area.
Right. It's called de-escalation. They're trying to keep this from getting any. And I have to tell you, I've covered more than my share of demonstrations in Los Angeles. There is a cadre of individuals who go to city council meetings, board of supervisor meetings, and they're very much interested in essentially confrontational politics. And I have no doubt they are part of this. They're part of the not just defund, but get rid of the Los Angeles Police Department constituency, if you will. So when our intern Jacob Wheeler said that there's a number of people on campus who were not students, I can guarantee there's quite a few of them. And my guess is that...
Whoa. Did you just hear what he said? He said that he believes that there's a number of people on campus that are not students. You know, it's funny that they can throw that out there now. Okay, you see the way they put spins on everything, and that's a concern. But when anybody came out and said that there were people in the crowd in front of the Capitol on January 6th that were trying to cause trouble and incite trouble, oh no, that was a conspiracy. That's a conspiracy. You know, that was every single person that supported Donald Trump. They're the ones that did it. There was nobody in there. There was no moles. There was nobody in there that was trying to start any kind of shit. But now that this baby has turned around to bite, oh, there's no doubt there's got to be some people that are not from the campus, that are not from the college. They got to be in the crowd. They're the ones that are like stirring up trouble. You see the way these Democrats, they are so, these leftists, these liberals, these Democrats, they are so wicked and so damn evil. They don't even have the spit tongue of a snake. No. Okay? They have the split tongue of a three-headed snake. I mean, to think that Hillary Clinton called half of America deplorables. Think about that. And I hope there's a lot of you leftists that are watching all this. Because I know you're going to ignore all those words. I know you're going to be like, you know what, no, this is something different, because there's always something different. That's the double standard. It's always something different. Always. It's a plain out double standard, but in your eyes, no, it's not. This is different. It's not a double standard, it's just different. Yeah, okay, let's continue.
And if you had to break down the most confrontational of those, based on the experience that we've had in protests of the past, I've already seen displays of vandalism, for example, on campus. There's a good chance that many of these, the most ardent, the most militant, are not students at all. But yeah, it's...
Gee, I wonder who they can be. I mean, it can be Antifa. Antifa's not out there doing it. Black Lives Matter is not out there doing it. I wonder who could it be? What militant group do you think? What's going to be the new narrative now? Oh, that all these riots and all these college campuses were infiltrated by who? By militia groups? By white supremacists? By MAGA supporters? Those militants that you're talking about are the same damn militants that you will send into crowds to try to make people on the right look bad. But it's funny. This is not all about now the shoe's on the other foot. This is all about now the shit is on your foot. Let's continue.
And we had the professor on from the journalism program. Yeah, this is 30,000 students at this university, the vast majority of which want to attend class and want to go to school and want to prepare for finals. Let there be no mistake about it. In fact, the White House just recently, in response to questions about protests on campus, said that based on surveys that have been conducted of young people, young university students, a far greater number are concerned when it comes to issues facing the populace in the next election in November on issues of the economy. That 2% of those that were surveyed said that the war in Gaza was a priority issue for them. So they were.
Oh man, you know, for them to make a statement like that, saying that, oh no, the students are more concerned about the economy, not what's going on in Gaza. You know, you sure as shit could have fooled me. You sure could have fooled me on that one. But you didn't. You know, this. I'm gonna end the video here because it's just gonna be more garbage, more bullshit that they're gonna talk about. But now I'm gonna tell you about my warning that, in my opinion, what I think is gonna happen. You just heard what he said about what the statement the White House put out, that these students are more concerned about the economy, about the populace, over what's going on in Gaza. Does anybody remember the Summer of Love that happened a few years back? Okay? The way the left just let people riot and burn down cities and kill people. Literally, people got killed. Okay? Innocent people tormented, victimized. But now all these little babies, all these campus dwellers, all these little babies are in mass and they're protesting. They just found another place to protest, which is on the college campuses. But they've been protesting in the streets and this whole since Israel decided to retaliate. This is what it has been, and not just in America, worldwide. Okay, especially in the UK. Well, right now the UK, they're trying to put their foot back down. And there's people in the UK that, like in England, they were supposed to have a, I forgot the name of the day, St. George Day or something like that. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but even they're being vilified by the cops still. In other words, it's like you're not allowed to be you're not allowed to be proud anymore of your heritage, of your country. But let the pro-Palestinian protesters have whatever they want, and this is what's happening here. So my thing is this is the way I see it. This is what I feel, the warning that I'm putting out, that I feel what's going to happen. It's going to get worse. Not only on the college campuses, out in the street with all these protests. So the Democrats are going to have it up from both sides. Okay? That's number one. Number two, the closer we get to November, be very careful, people, about where you go to vote. And this is why I say this. This whole thing about what he just said about that there's people, there's militants in there infiltrating the crowds at the colleges and stuff like that. If these protests keep getting out of hand, especially when it's time for the elections, that's what they're going to do, in my opinion. They're going to try to disrupt polling booths throughout this country to make it harder for people to vote. Because they know that while all these colleges, all these college students go back to school, and if the war doesn't end, if Biden does not put his foot down and try to get in between Israel and Palestine and have a ceasefire to put a stop to it, there's going to be riots throughout the summer, and school's going to start right after that, right before November, and the protests are going to keep going. And what's going to happen? You're going to have too many college students protesting, which means they're not going to have time to vote, and you're going to have too many people out in the street upset with the Democrats and Biden, and they won't vote. Which means they're going on top of the fact of people that are not even part of any of these protests, that are not in these colleges, that are not on the street protesting, like the people in Chicago, that they're fed up and they said, we're not voting Democrat, we're voting Republican. They're going to see a big shift of people leaving and saying, you know what, I'm done with all the protesting. You don't have my vote. The Democrats are going to lose big time. They talk about and they laugh and gawk and say, oh, you guys didn't get that red wave. Well, no, guess what? You think, and then they come out and say, well, we're going to have a blue wave or whatever the case is. No, what you're going to have is a tsunami of people leaving the Democratic Party, and you are going to see the Democrat vote, their numbers plummet because everybody's too damn occupied protesting. Remember that. And when you go out there to vote, don't let nobody stop you. Nobody. Because if I had to guess, in all honesty, you need to remember one thing. A lot of people get upset with Donald Trump when he says that the Democrats are very smart. When he means that they're very smart, they're cynically smart. They know how to take a problem and try to capitalize off of it. And not in a good way. They will find a way to use these protests to try to disrupt the election and disrupt people on the right. I'm telling you. They haven't figured, it's not that they haven't figured it out yet. They're trying to figure it out. They're putting pieces together. They're putting this together. Believe me, this is not going to get small. If this war continues between Israel and Palestine, these protests will not stop. They'll get bigger. But it'll be the left protesting against the left. Like I said, the left, they eat themselves. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe. Give the channel a thumbs up. Pass it around. Any young people out there, you want to pass the content to them, pass it to them so like that they can get some knowledge. I don't know it all, but I mean, I say it the way I see it. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure shit like this out, especially when you're born and raised in the streets. Okay? And if you want to help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and PayPal and my merch store, TrueOutlawPatriot.com. So remember, people, stay vigilant, keep praying for each other, and keep praying for this country. Peace.